presenter, when Yolanda shared her video with me, I was just totally moved. I was moved because it wasn't about degrees. It wasn't about experience in what she was doing. It was just a woman who had a vision. A woman who had a simple vision, and a vision that was driven by her family. So I always love to call her name. Myself and Yolanda always say, okay, Francois Mignon, Mignon. You know, I say, oh, I feel like I'm eating some beef somewhere that's, that's marinated in wine or something. And I want her to tell our own story, because when you hear our story, I really believe that people will be inspired here. So we're just going to play a little bit of a video as she walks up to the podium. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, Mignon Francois of the Cupcake Collection.
I think that the best thing for me is just to laugh, because everybody says I have a big Kool-Aid smile, and my mother thinks I show all 47, she says, of my teeth when I smile, because I got a lot of smiling to do. I got a lot of stuff to smile about. So. Hi, I'm Mignon Francois, and I'm a baker at the Cupcake Collection. I couldn't have dreamed that you would tell me that major networks would be contacting me saying, we want to hear what you have to say about cupcakes. I burn the bread. I could not make a box cake. Like Betty Crocker couldn't teach me a thing. So I have to learn how to bake. I believe we started out of necessity. I needed to find something to do to save my family. We were drowning in debt, drowning in brokenness. I am an avid Dave Ramsey listener, and he was always telling people to have a bake sale. And so a light bulb went off in me that we could have a bake sale every day. We might be able to scream, we're debt free, like everybody else was doing. I have two awesome daughters who were great bakers, because I couldn't bake a thing. I decided that they could probably handle the volume of a bake sale. Our first real major order was 600 cupcakes. When me and my girls got that check, we knew that we wanted to have more bake sales. We were a family that was the working poor. I had taken my daughter out for cupcakes, and I asked her how she liked it, and she's like, I liked it, but I'll never ask for it again. I asked her why, and her answer burdened me. And she, at 12 years old, said, it's just ridiculous for me to ask you to pay $9 for 2 cupcakes. I wasn't really willing to put another mother through what I felt like I was going through. When we set out to create a business that was about offering a comfort, that this was comfort people could attain, something that they could come and experience and not feel guilty about it when they got finished with it. Oh, the cupcake's gone, and now, oh man, what about the lights? And my children reassured me and said, Mom, at any time I could probably go into the couch and find $1.50 for a cupcake. Just because we can charge more doesn't mean we have to. We, together as a family, built that house into what it is today. When we got our house, it was a condemned property. We moved into it, there were just 2 rooms, 2 bedrooms and a half of a bathroom. In the 2 weeks before we actually opened the bakery, we lived there without electricity simply because we couldn't afford it. We lived there on a generator. We were spending our money daily, whatever little money we would get every day, to go buy gas to fill up the generator. We needed to make life-changing decisions. Were we gonna buy gas for the generator, or were we gonna buy food? In the daytime, while the children were gone, I would be there in total darkness, or I would go out of the house and stay out of the house just so I could save up the gas so that we could not have ramen noodles tonight. Ramen noodles are 17 cents, and my kids have learned how to hook up a bag of noodles into a gourmet meal. I remember the NES man was in the backyard to shut off our lights because the check that I wrote to get the lights back on had bounced. it was time to pay up $2,000. And my husband said, please just leave the lights on. My wife, she has this little business and she's really trying hard and she's got a room full of people. Please don't turn the lights off on my wife. She's gonna be devastated. And that guy felt what my husband was saying. He said, man, this has nothing to do with me. I tell you what, I have to run over to East Nashville and I gotta cut off somebody's lights. And I can give you 30 minutes. And I, in 15 minutes, had $2,000 in my hands that I could use and go pay that bill. And I made a deal with my mother. That NES guy, he went back to NES and he gathered up everybody that he could wrangle. And it must have looked like an NES convoy coming down my street. I remember he came to my door and the NES truck pulled up at 8 o'clock in the morning and parked in front of my door. I was so mad because I knew I had paid my NES bill. And I flung the door open. I said, I don't owe you anything. What are you doing here? He was like, lady, I came to bring you money. I came to buy cupcakes and I brought a friend. And NES started rolling through those doors. From now on, when I see the NES truck, it's a celebration because they're like a part of our family because they wanted to save us and they didn't even know us. We're always looking for opportunities to affect people with our cupcakes. Somebody told me, you're reaching heaven to touch earth. I was like, wow, that's such a compliment for somebody to tell you, because we were doing the Alex's Lemonade stand where we were taking proceeds from our sweet lemonade cupcakes and donating them to this little 4-year-old girl's vision to rid the world of cancer. And I just decided that I wanted my company to be one that doesn't just take from other people, but it also makes a difference and it gives back to those same people who need it to come back to them. I have no idea where God is taking the cupcake collection. So many people said, are you watching your competition? For me, there is no competition. I have put it all into God's hands and I'm just trusting Him. Wherever He tells me to go, that's what I'm paying attention to. He told me that people would come into my life and bless me just because they're overwhelmed and they're astounded by my obedience to what He told me to do when I'm standing up here and can't bake. And He's given me this gift and people are tasting my cupcakes and they're saying, this is anointed. Like, I've never had anything this good. Are you telling me? Are you kidding me? You couldn't bake before this? Friday, a lady said to me, I tasted your lemon cupcakes and I just started crying. I felt like my mother sent it to me because it tastes like she baked it herself. And I haven't had cake like that since she died. That's really awesome to me because I know that God is the one giving me the recipes in my sleep. And we've given out more hugs than I could ever count. Probably as many hugs as we've given out cupcakes. I think that my customers feel like the cupcake collection is about happiness. Because when they're down, they come and see me for cupcakes. And that's what I want to be. That place where you can take that someone special and celebrate. This is so much more than cupcakes for me, because this is about healing. It is about change. It is about renewal. It is about a rebirth. It's about excitement. It's about what can you do if you just put your mind to it and decide that you're going to trust God and put it all in His hands and just let Him be in charge. People think the Francois, oh, they can do it because they're the Francois and they're rich. The Francois aren't rich. The Francois are obedient. That's who the Francois are. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I can't even tell you that you still don't know my story. And every time I hear it, I just cry. because I never want to forget where I was and where I still am. And I just been sitting here praying in my spirit, and I ask that you would just allow me this. Oh God, let the words of my mouth and the meditations on my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen. I always say I'm not going to do it, and I just decided to stop saying that because it's a lie. I'm going to cry, and you have to excuse me. One thing is, I was sitting over there, and I was meditating. I was preparing myself before I came, and God said to ask you to get into a circle. So, yeah, I know you are comfortable, and you've been sitting there, and you've got your chairs, but it's time for you to get uncomfortable, because what you're about to do is going to move you from the pit that you're in to a prison into the palace. And I just need you guys to take your chairs and just make a circle. I don't know why he told me to do this, but I have learned to do what God says to do, no matter what it looks like to me. So if you just push the tables back a little bit and just grab chairs, and I don't want you guys to make space in between you. I just want you to sit your chairs next to one another, and I don't want there to be any space in between anybody. Some of the things that we heard today from each one of these presenters, there's been a theme. And what I keep hearing them say is the first thing that you all had to do was write. And a lot of you have pens and you have paper with you, and I'm asking you to bring that to the circle. The last two people that were standing in the room were members of my team. My best friend is here today. He is my husband. He's standing in the back, Mr. Francois. He has been my best friend and my supporter. And my publicist is with me. She is a visionary. She loves me, and I love her. And I met this woman at an event where she was representing a client, and she could tell that person more about me than probably my husband could at the time about what I was doing with this business. And her passion for what I was doing, I said to my husband, if I ever hire a publicist, because at the time I was doing it myself, that's going to be the lady right there. Honey, I need you to be in the circle as well as Kia. And then if you guys can save a space for me. I brought tissue for you because whenever I talk, I always make everybody else cry. So I'm going to put that. If anybody needs this, I don't know where a convenient place is for it to be. So if there's a space in between you, move the chair out. Okay. So I was sitting here, and I said, God said, ask everybody to get into a circle. I'm like, what does that mean? So I got out my trusty iPhone. If you don't have one of these, get yourself an iPhone. I need my glasses. Thank you. That's a sign of when you're getting old. That you need glasses, and I'm just saying that you need glasses. Well, I got orange ones, so hopefully that makes them even better. Anyway, so I looked up what does it mean? What does the ring mean? And it says the ring is, of course, a circle. And this was the symbol of eternity for the Egyptians, as well as many other ancient cultures. It had no beginning and no end, like time. It returned to itself, and the shape was worshipped in the form of the sun and the moon. The hole in the center of the ring is not just space either. It is important in and of its own right as a symbol of the gateway or door leading to things and events both known and unknown.